Hello, this is Billy Core from the Nostalgia Mall, and today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the Handspring Visor Deluxe, released in the year 2000. This is a Palm Pilot that was given to me by my uncle, brand new, back when I was 10 years old. Yeah, this was made by Handspring. This is a little 8 megabyte flash module that goes in it. Okay, it turned itself on. We don't want it on yet. But I've had this for 18 years now, and it still works perfectly. Only real flaw with it is the stylus is missing. I lost that years ago. I rediscovered this PDA a couple of days ago in a box in my closet. And all it needed were 2 fresh AAA batteries, and that brought it back to life. So yeah, my uncle, that is, got a Palm Pilot, a Handspring one, just like this. Well, not just like this, but very similar to this. Right before he gave this one to me, it was a much higher end model. It had a color screen, and I remember where this flash module goes. He had some kind of a camera thing that would go in there, and you could take pictures with it. I doubt the pictures were all that nice considering it was the year 2000, but that was still pretty cool for the time. And he knew how much I enjoyed his, so he got me a Palm Pilot, kind of a lower end version of his. This is the Handspring Visor Deluxe. Reading the specs here offline, it has a 160 by 160 resolution with a monochrome LCD display, a 16 megahertz Motorola MC68 EZ328 processor, which is a little bit more power than I expected, and touchscreen, of course. Apparently it has a microphone, but I never used it. That might be it right there. It's made by Handspring, and it has 8 megabytes of RAM, although I think that's this that came with it. I remember when he first gave this to me, he forgot to put the this module in it, and it kept crashing on me, and I wasn't sure what was going on, so I took it back to him, asked him, hey, what's going on here? And turns out he forgot to put this flash module in there, which saved the day. And if what I'm reading is correct, it's running Palm OS 3.1. And you know, I remember using this quite a bit when I first got it, but I didn't really get much use out of it because this really isn't something that a 10-year-old will find entertaining for very long. To me, this felt more like one of those cheap personal handheld organizers you would get back in the 90s that weren't worth crap. But it has like an address book, a calendar, a clock, a calculator, all the basic stuff on there, including a few games as well. In fact, we're going to attempt to install a game on here a little bit later. But first, let's go ahead and power it on. And as you can clearly see, it still works. Now, since my stylus is missing, I'm going to use the end of this ink pen instead. And we get a menu here. We got addresses, calculator, a world clock, datebook, datebook plus, expense, file mover, giraffe, which is a handwriting game, graffiti, which was the handwriting recognition that this PDA used, which you would write something down here on this little open area right here, and it would appear on the screen. I was never really good at it. Hardball, another game. Hot sync, which is what you use to sync with your computer. An email client, which I never got to work. Memo pad. Mine Hunt, which is just a basic Minesweeper clone, control panel, a little puzzle game, some security settings, sub hunt, which is another game, to-do list, and welcome. And welcome is pretty much where you configure it for the first time. Like you can calibrate the stylus. And it still keeps date and time just fine. It's funny seeing the year 2018 on that thing. Has little beeps and boops in it. So you got your address book. Only one on there is the tech support for Handspring, who manufacture this doodad. Calculator, which is what you'd expect, a calculator. 2 times 8, 16. Sounds right to me. Ugh. Not in a very good position to record this. Date book, which is just a calendar application. Date book plus, I'm really not sure what the difference is there. See what expense is. This is something I never used. And I still don't know how to use it. I guess it's something where you put down everything you've purchased throughout like a day or something, and it adds it all up, if I had to guess. We can test out the graffiti thing. The graffiti writing area is divided into 2 parts, one for writing letters, the other for writing numbers. If you draw the letters exactly as shown, you will achieve 100% accuracy. I don't see that ending well. There's the email client. I think there may have been like a modem module you could stick in here where the RAM card goes. Or you could sync your email from something like Microsoft Outlook when you sync it with your computer. Yeah, this tip is a little too thick for this screen, especially for scrolling down. You know what? I'm just going to use the this tip. Don't worry, the pin's not out. Let's see, memo pad. Got a memo on here I wrote yesterday when I was testing it. This is a test memo written on the Ultimate Packard Bell Legend 3550. So I think what we'll do is create another memo. Oh, I think we have to use that graffiti thing. I tried to write a T, but it wrote an I. Yeah, I always remember having trouble with this thing. There's no on-screen keyboard to save the day. Oh well. And of course you get your preferences. Oh yeah, and also has a IR sensor on the side here for infrared transfers. I know a lot of laptops at the time had that. Okay, let's try this out. Let's play a little bit of hardball. And as you can easily see, this is nothing more than a simple breakout clone. And I got a lot of mileage out of this game as a kid. You control it just with the buttons on the bottom. Yeah, I remember back back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when PDAs like this were first coming on the scene, I thought this was going to be the future of everything. A computer you could have in your hand. Well, actually it kind of did come true because we got smartphones and iPhones now. But the Palm platform like this, well, it kind of died off years and years ago. Last time I remember seeing it in regular use was in the latter part of 2009. I'm not going to go into the details of who was using it, but I remember in 2007 buying a used cell phone off of eBay that had a built-in Palm Pilot. It was obviously a much more advanced version of this since it was 7 years newer, but it was Palm OS based still. But it had a built-in cell phone, which a lot of them did at the time. You would have cell phones with built-in Palm Pilots, which eventually evolved into smartphones. But anyway, I bought one off eBay in 2007 used. I got it and it was broken, dead on arrival. It kept overheating and I just couldn't get any life out of it. Broke my heart. But later that same year, I got a new Palm device, which I will go into detail on a little bit later. Okay, I got a new high score, which is probably my lowest. I don't know who the Jode is, but and this puzzle game, which is one of those things where you have to move blocks around. I've never been good at these things. And Mine Hunt. Again, this is just a clone of Minesweeper from Windows. That didn't take long. Oh, first hit and I got blown up. That's just not fair. Anyway. And Sub Hunt, where you drop bombs on submarines. And these are all games that came not with the with the device itself, but with the software you use to install on your computer to sync with it. You can have that software add these games to it. So that's enough of that. So yeah, really not much you can do with it. There's really wasn't much you could do with it when it was brand new, but it was a novelty thing to have, especially when you were only 10 years old. But let's take a look at the hot sync software. After 18 years, I somehow managed to hold on to not only the PDA, but the cradle that connects it to your desktop computer. I have this connected to my Ultimate Packard Bell Legend 3550. This uses a USB cable, very early USB, and you just plop it on like so. And when you press the button right here, okay, it's connecting to the desktop and it's synchronizing everything. And so we come over here, You can open up Palm Desktop. I no longer have the CD for this software. I actually had to download this on some sketchy website. But this shows you all the stuff that's on your PDA at this moment. Memo. Here's the failed memo we tried to write using the graffiti app, and the one I wrote yesterday. So we'll type a more sophisticated looking memo and we'll type this on here, and it will sync it to the PDA. So, hello YouTube. This is a year 2000 PDA. Alright, so that'll be, that's ready to go next time we sync. And right here, this button that says install, this is where you can install programs and other games onto your Palm Pilot that you've downloaded off websites or gotten off of CDs. I remember not long after I got this Palm Pilot, I bought a CD with like 100 different Palm Pilot games at Staples or Office Depot, and I never could get that CD to work right. But those are the games that it installs, that the software comes with, that it installs, which we already looked at. I think the game we want to put on here might be on my server. I might have, oh yeah, Space War. And I haven't tried this game yet. I've never played it. We got two versions, Space War and Space War Color. This game is, I think, from like 2004, so there's a high probability this isn't going to work on this Palm Pilot. So we'll just go with the non-color version. Alright, next time we perform a hot sync operation, the listed files will be installed on your handheld. Alright, let's start syncing. I think we need to go back to the PDA and hit the button on the cradle. Okay, it's synchronizing Space War. Hot sync operation complete. Okay, it looks like it may have actually installed it. I'm quite surprised. So let's take this back over and give it a try. Okay, let's get out of this screen. First of all, let's see if that memo shows up on here. I really need a new stylus for this thing. There we go. This is what we typed on the computer a while ago. Hello YouTube. This is a year 2000 PDA. It's probably going, what's YouTube? What's a tube and what's a U? Why do they put the U and the tube together? Anyway, let's see if it installed that game that we downloaded. Space War, here we go. Oh my gosh, it actually works. I don't believe it. Well, I guess it works in theory, at least. I thought this was supposed to be an Asteroids clone, but I guess I might be mistaken. have no clue what I'm doing here. Hey, at least this finally has a new game on it for the first time in 18 years. Okay, I have no clue what I'm doing there, so... Yeah, that's the Handspring Visor Deluxe Palm Pilot from the year 2000, back when everyone thought this was going to be the wave of the future, and it kind of was, but it wound up going to a different platform. This is what this wound up becoming. Smartphone. Which is a million times more powerful and usable than this thing. And one thing I discovered about this PDA for the first time in 18 years is it has a backlight. I was showing it to a friend of mine in a Facebook group I'm a part of, and he mentioned that holding down this green button turns on a backlight. I had no clue there was a backlight on here. So let's turn the lights off and hold down this button. There you go. Not a very good backlight, but it exists. And I went 18 years not knowing this was there. So we'll go ahead and turn that back off and turn our regular lights back on. So yeah, the Handspring Visor Deluxe from the year 2000. Hope you enjoyed this video. We have new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, sometimes in between. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, a link to do so is in the description below. So until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off. Quick epilogue for this video. I forgot to mention this, but this is this was not the this was not the last PDA I ever owned. I also had this. This was an HP iPac 111 Classic Handheld that I got for Christmas in 2007. Now, unlike this one, this ran not Palm OS, but Windows Mobile. More specifically, Windows Mobile 6, which had a very Windows Vista look to it. And compared to this was quite a bit more usable. It kind of reminded me of what eventually became the iPod Touch. Had built-in Wi-Fi, wireless G on it. It could load websites quite well, and had a great little MP3 player, SD card slot. It was a really cool little device for the time, and it was the first device, as a matter of fact, that I ever ran ScumVM on. And that was back in 2008. Hard to believe I've been using this program for 10 years now. But I used this for a couple of years until about 2010 when it was lying on the floor and I accidentally stepped on it, so yeah. And this is on Amazon, and apparently they're still selling them new for $285. That's pretty surprising for a 10-year-old device. But hey, if I can find one used at a good enough price, I might get it just to make a video of for you guys. But anyway, this is Billy Core signing off.